news sometimes can be boring. However, if you know what to look for, it's not boring whatsoever. And we know what to look for. Stay tuned right now for the news that nobody else is talking about.
It is important to keep your mind pure and righteous and holy. It is not okay to be hooking up with chicks if you're married. It is not okay to be scamming on the sides with chicks if you are pastor of a church. We have news now that Hillsong pastor that was just caught cheating. And, you know, the thing about this guy is it wasn't a one-time thing. You know, there's an abundance of mercy in God's kingdom. There's grace. If you legitimately messed up, did something you probably weren't supposed to, and it was a one-time thing, you know, I'm not God. I wouldn't want to ever place myself in the presence or in the position of God and then tell people that God's going to forgive them. I wouldn't do that. But in this case, Hillsong pastor Carl Lentz was caught cheating, and this is a long-term affair. This is over months and months and months. She asked him. We saw the reports. She asked this guy, the girl that Carl Lentz was cheating on his wife with. She asked him, "Are you married?" He said yes. And you know, shame on her for going ahead with it, and shame on him and all those things. You know, shouldn't have happened. But the report out now from that we're seeing is that this Hillsong pastor, the whole church was all about sex, was all about hitting on girls and doing things. Let me just read to you this article. Here it is. Hillsong staffers used the church like a seedy dating service, sleeping around with volunteers and asking them to send nude pictures, it says. According to a group of volunteers who allegedly complained about the situation, the whistleblowers also claim the organization, which has been rocked by recent revelations that its former leader, Carl Lentz, had multiple affairs. It was a breeding ground for unchecked abuse. You know, when you play with the devil and you do things you shouldn't do, God will always bring light to those situations. It will always happen. Never can you live in darkness. Never can you have secret sin and God not expose it. I remember we were doing a deliverance meeting one time, and I had told the gentleman, if you want to partake, I need you to fast and pray. I need you not to be involved in any sin whatsoever. Walk in, and the demon-possessed man looked at this man behind me and said, "He's smoking cigarettes and having a..." And I went, "Oh, no." So the demons know what you do in secret. And when you are in a secret sin type situation, you have no power over the enemy. That's why God says that some of these don't come out by prayer and fasting. We have to live righteous. We do not get to live how we want to live and then say, "Oh, God will forgive me on Monday." That's not the way the kingdom works. The kingdom says to press towards the mark. The kingdom says to put down ungodly things. So I'm going to live a life of righteousness and holiness. My body is the temple of the living God. Why disturb it? Why pollute it with pornography or affairs? And we see that the Hillsong Church is now come crumbling down, all because there was an atmosphere of abundant sin. There was an atmosphere of ungodliness. God will always have the last word.
Almost got arrested 2 days ago at the Federal Reserve for standing outside on a sidewalk.
We're talking about the Constitution.
What's really going on out there?
Nothing ever goes on my right hand or my forehead. I don't care who you are, what you're doing. It is against my religion to put any kind of a mark or symbol on that part of my body.
Do you want to know today?
And sure enough, one of those cards said terrorist nuke.
No
now,
way.
their whole label clearly shows the Twin Towers of New York being struck with some sort of an aerial craft.
What are the real issues today? What are you dealing with? What is happening? There's a lot of people saying a lot of things, but we're going to talk about real issues and your life today on the Jesse Woodrow Show.
Oh, yes. Here we are. You guys ready? Here it is. First Amendment of the Constitution. Congress shall make no law respecting the establishment of religion, prohibiting the free exercise thereof, or abridging the freedom of speech or of the press, or the right of the people peaceably to assemble, petition the government for a redress of grievance. We read that because the Constitution is important to us. 844-4JW Show, 844-459-7469. If you'd like to be on the show, it's Freedom of Speech Fridays. It's an opportunity that I want you guys. You know, we're silenced constantly with our friends, with our family, with our coworkers. Everywhere we go, we're silenced, and not right here at Freedom of Speech Fridays. We're going to give you an opportunity to say whatever you'd like to say, whatever topic you want to bring up, whatever you want to discuss. We're going to do that. But today, in the meantime, while people call in, I want to discuss probably right now on a Friday in December, one of the most heated topics amongst people I know. I got in kind of not a verbal fight or not a screaming anything, but with some people at work about the vaccine. And I have noticed that the vaccine is being pushed right now on us, and is being told by even, get this, the Vice President of the United States now has taken, Vice President Mike Pence has taken the vaccine live on TV. He says Vice President Mike Pence and the leaders of the House and the Senate received their first doses of COVID-19 vaccine on Friday as they tried to reassure the American public that the shot is safe. So we see it's being perpetrated on the American people and the world that indeed the vaccine is safe. Well, I think probably one of the most heated topics amongst Christendom, amongst the world, amongst nurses, amongst people I know, is the vaccine. Are you going to take it or are you not going to take it? Now, regardless if you believe it is unsafe or it is safe, there are a predominant amount of people. There are a lot of people that are saying there ain't no way I'm taking one vaccines. Two, there ain't no way I'm going to take the first round of vaccines. So today I want to talk about vaccines, and if you are going to take the vaccine, call in. I want to hear why you're going to take it. If you're not going to take the vaccine, I want to hear, and everybody wants to hear, why you're not going to take it. 844-4JW Show, 459-7469. As we are talking about vaccines today, I want to show you this article. This is off CNN. CNN says that 2 Alaska healthcare workers suffered reactions to COVID-19 vaccine. This is CNN, so you know they're not lying. They're telling the truth here when it comes to vaccines. 2 workers at an Alaska hospital suffered allergic reactions after receiving Pfizer's COVID-19 vaccine this week, and one was kept for observation for at least 2 nights in hospital. Representatives said the hospital worker's reaction was more serious but not life-threatening. Doctors said she felt flushed within the first 10 minutes after receiving the vaccine Tuesday at Bartlett Regional Hospital in Juneau. I know that word. I've seen that word. It's not Juneau. It's oh man, and later reported symptoms including shortness of breath and elevated heart rate. The second Bartlett healthcare worker was treated for less severe symptoms after being injected Wednesday, felt fine within an hour, and was released, the hospital said. Now, so when you go to say, well, they're really, it's safe. It's not safe, first of all. If it's safe, nobody would be admitted to a hospital to watch for 2 nights. It wouldn't have happened. If one person gets sick or has an adverse reaction, it's not safe. It's not safe. Now, I had somebody post the other day to me. They are not a Christian. In fact, they do not like Christians. I know them personally. And that person said to me, ain't no way my family is taking this first round of vaccines. Now, would they take the second round? Maybe, I don't know. But the point is, even people that are not Christians are seeing that there's no way that this hurried up vaccination process, warp speed, is going to be safe. I've seen this all over the internet recently, that we have had cancer for how many years? We have had HIV for how many years? And we ain't got a vaccine. And all of a sudden in 9 months, we got a vaccine that's going to be safe? I don't think so. Let me play for you this clip. I can't stop. I've watched this 3 times. It's unbelievable. A nurse is at a press conference. Are you listening to me? A nurse is at a press conference. In the medical industry, at a press conference, this poor lady, all of a sudden in the middle of the questioning, she puts her hand on her forehead, and you're going to see this. She faints on live TV. Look at this poor lady fainting on live TV.
Did you know you were going to be receiving the vaccine? I did, yes. So, all of my staff, we are excited to get the vaccine. We are in the COVID unit, so therefore, my team will be getting first chances to get the vaccine. And I know that it's...
Ooh, look at that. You can see her start to go,
I'm sorry, I'm feeling really dizzy.
Yeah, I can tell. It's really safe, she says. Uh-oh. Here we go. And there she's gone. Doctors rush in. People rush in. They go to try and help her. She's on the ground. They don't even cut, which is, I find it surprising they're not cutting away at this point. Now you got 4 or 5 people standing around her. Yeah, it's safe, guys. Yeah, it's completely safe. This is okay to take. Ain't no way that Jesse Woodrow is taking this thing. So don't tell me that it's safe. If it's safe, you wouldn't have people on live TV falling over, passing out. Now, I don't know this poor lady, if she survived. Is she alive now? I don't know. This just happened. I just saw this. I've got a chance to look into this. God, I hope that she's okay and hope that she's safe. Now, some people have commented, and I love that they did this. Some people have commented, and they said, well, actually, this thing that happened was by the name of it happened by the name of, oh man, what was the let me spell it out for you. I've heard of this, but I don't know the name of it. VASALLOG is some medical term that happens when people see the sight of a needle or blood, right? So afraid of needles, why some people faint at the sight of needles. And this goes on to explain that there's a phobia, and I'm trying to find to see if it shows what the actual name of it is called. Here, I saw it earlier in a different article, but I don't see it here. But there is an actual type of situation, medical thing that happens when people see blood at the sight of blood or at the sight of a needle. And I understand this. When I was a kid, by the way, my dad died when I was 12 years old of cancer, and I'd go to the hospital and I'd see him put those huge needles of whatever they were doing, and I would go, oh my gosh. And me as 11, 12-year-old, I would not faint, but man, it gets me weak. I'm weak at the knees. Like I go out. I don't know why. I don't know I don't think I ever fainted, but I definitely don't like the sight of blood or needles. Well, to find out that there's actually a medical experience that happens at the sight of needles. And some people said, oh, this lady that passed out on live TV, that's what happened. She saw a needle or blood, a needle in this case, and she fainted and passed out. No. The symptoms are, or what happens is you see a needle, and when you see a needle, you pass out. She had already taken this vaccine. She was doing the press conference about it. So it's not, I know that your first tendency is to automatically say, no, but it's live TV. We saw it's unsafe. The girl fainted after taking the vaccine. She didn't faint because she saw a needle and they were poking her with a needle. This is way after that. This is a press conference after that, probably within 10 minutes of that press conference. And that's enough time for the vaccine to travel through your blood system and for you to feel the effects of it. So now, what I think is interesting about this is that when people say that the vaccine is safe, I remember a few years ago, I don't know if you guys remember this girl. It was that time we had H1N1 and all those flu shots. Her name was Desiree Jennings, and I want to play you this clip of her situation. Here she is.
This local woman's story stunned the nation. Seizures, shakes, all caused by her seasonal flu shot. It is a story you saw first on Fox 5.
Influenza.
A Redskins cheerleader ambassador left disabled, suffering dozens of seizures every day, and that was before she took a turn for the worse.
But a controversial doctor in North Carolina is turning her life around. Fox 5's Claudia Coffey takes us along the road to recovery.
You guys remember this girl?
Desiree Jennings was told by some doctors that she would never recover, that the damage she suffered from a flu shot was irreversible. But over the last month, she has gone from being on death's door to seeing that her old life is just within reach.
Desiree Jennings never lost hope that this day would finally come.
It feels great to be able to smile again.
The Ashburn, Virginia native is not only able to smile, but she can walk again. These simple steps.
Look at that guy next to her.
Nearly a
Does
month
he look
ago,
familiar?
We first introduced you to the Redskins cheerleader ambassador.
Symptoms will get worse.
Just days after getting the seasonal flu shot, her health spiraled out of control. She had difficulties walking, talking, and suffered several seizures a day. Johns Hopkins and Fairfax Inova diagnosed her with a rare reaction to the flu shot that resulted in dystonia, a rare neurological disorder. But she still had some control. For instance, she could run but not walk forward.
This was the girl, I just want to pause it for a second. This is the girl that could run, but the minute she stops running, she has these, it looks like she's got a problem. She can't walk, talk, unless she runs. Do you remember this girl?
Even ran a marathon. But days after she crossed the finish line, her
and she had to
health
walk backwards.
took a turn for the worse.
I didn't know what was in her. All I knew was whatever's in her shouldn't be in her.
Actress
now look at that guy. You remember? You know that guy looked familiar.
Called Generation Rescue, which educates people about ways to reverse autism and concerns over vaccine safety, put Desiree in touch with Dr. Rashid Buttar outside.
Rashid Buttar. This is the guy that I have seen make a huge impact on the truther community in the last 6 months about COVID. And I never knew Buttar was involved in her recovery. Essentially, he helped reverse some of the neurological things that were happening with her. If you remember, she was walking back. She would walk like this, and then all of a sudden, when they would go backwards, she would walk perfectly and she could talk. But she if she went forward, it was like this, and she couldn't talk and all that. And man, I just felt for this girl. She had an allergic reaction to a vaccine, to a flu shot. So is that something that you want to have to deal with? This poor lady probably has had to deal with this for years. And I if you keep watching this video, we don't have time to watch the whole thing, but you keep watching the video, you see that in fact, she's still, years later, this is 2009. I remember this. I was doing the Jesse Woodrow show in 2009 when this happened, and we were telling people, don't take vaccines. They got things in them that you do not want, aluminum and all these bad things, so do not take them. And I remember we were talking about them putting stuff in the sky and the aluminum falling from the sky. I mean, there were. Now we all know this to be true, but back then when we were doing this, we're talking about this stuff, people just laughed at us, thought they were crazy. But to say that the vaccines and all this stuff is safe is just simply not true. So now let me go to an article here from the CT Post. This is an interesting article. Again, 844-4JW-SHOW, 459-7469 if you'd like to be on the air. And I want to hear if you're going to take the vaccine or not and why. So now, look at this article. Since the 20th century, breakthroughs that have made them possible, it is estimated that 10 million lives have been saved by vaccines against polio. Now, that may be a low estimate. The CDC says the number is more like 23 million lives. However, there have been hiccups. Hiccups in this case being a euphemism of way of expressing death and tragedy. Those bumps in the road, another cutesy way of describing something grim, speak volumes about the need to deliberate and carefully go through the process of vaccine development. For example, the so-called Cutter incident, when laboratories mistakenly sent out batches of live polio virus instead of inactive cells, as they should have. As the Association of American Medical Colleagues wrote, 5 kids died and more than 100 patients were paralyzed. Listen, if you get paralyzed, ain't no government official going to come over to your house and somehow touch you, and then you're going to be not paralyzed anymore. There ain't no magic cure, and then all of a sudden you're going to be unparalyzed. God does not want us to make irrational decisions. Be prepared. Be rational. Remember, we teach here that it is power. Power is knowledge, and the lack of it is death. We have to be prepared. Look at this now as I go back to this. As recently as 2017, vaccines supposed to combat dengue fever actually was shown to cause a worse form of the disease. The list goes on. As much as 30% of polio vaccines were contaminated with similar virus for 8 years. The swine flu vaccine increased the risk of Guillain-Barré syndrome. The 2009 H1 influenza vaccine caused narcolepsy in some patients. And of course, there were glass particles in the HPV vaccine in 2013. All of this is not to say that vaccines shouldn't be universally shunned. However, vaccination in particular is important to think about now, given the rise of the anti-vaccine movement that has the potential to reverse the health gains achieved through one of the most powerful inventions of medical history. I, for one, understand that vaccines were not like they are today back when I was growing up. I remember my mom telling me, Jess, they used to space it out within 30, 60, 90 days. It wasn't like you take one shot every 2.5 weeks or 1 week and a half nowadays like they do. It was spaced out. There wasn't as much aluminum. There wasn't as much stuff in them. I just want to tell you that I know we are being forced. It is in the news. I told someone the other day I'm not going to take the vaccine, and do you know that I got looked at like I was crazy? Like I was literally out of my mind. You're not going to take it? No. Elon Musk. Now, you can say what you want about Elon Musk. The dude is brilliant. He's a scientist. He's smart. You know what he said? He said, my family doesn't need it. I'm not taking no stupid vaccine. He's not taking it. I know we are told in the media, Vice President Mike Pence did it on live TV today. Took the vaccine. So it is being preached to us. It is being taught to us that we should take the vaccine. However, I had a nurse today on Facebook post publicly. She is a nurse and she's not taking it. Now, I had another nurse say that she is a nurse and she is taking it, or she wouldn't have a problem taking it. So I understand that there are people on both sides of this position. What do you guys think? Do you think it's safe enough to take? You got people passing out on live TV. You got already. I wonder how many people have passed out or been had complications and they're not reporting. I wonder how is this happening to people and we're not hearing about it? It's possible. Are they going to suppress the news? In fact, I saw on the Drudge Report, I think it was this morning, I even saw that there was an article how they were wondering how in the world is the news going to address all the complications to what's happening. And I thought, wow, what a great idea to talk about how, are they going to lie? And are they going to say, well, no, are they going to be honest? The Drudge Report was talking about it. In fact, let me see if I can find it for us here. I don't see it anymore. Maybe they've taken it off. But, I think it's important to think about, is this vaccine safe? Could it possibly be safe? I'm not a doctor. Let me just say that right off the bat. I am not someone this is my profession. So please do not take my advice. Do your own research. I am not liable for anything you do or don't do. However, I believe that God would have you study and show yourself approved. I believe that God would ask you to do some research. I believe that power is knowledge and the lack of it is death. What do you guys think? We're almost done for today, but I understand. Let me just close this out. I understand that this is a very touchy issue. I understand that. I wanted to hear from some of you to see if you guys would take this or not. And it was interesting to me to see who was going to take it and who and why. I wanted to hear from you. Maybe next week we can talk about this too. I know that Christmas is coming up next week, and it'll be December 25th, I believe, is Christmas. And that is a week from today, so we will not have a show next week because it is Christmas. I'm going to spend the time with my family, so I apologize about not doing this show. But as we go into the actual Christmas day, I want to tell you guys that I try and do my best with my own family, and we understand that Christmas has traditions in America. We know that Jesus was not born December 25th. We know that my house celebrates the fact that Jesus was born. We know he wasn't born December 25th. It's nice to have a period of the year that we can take off. I vacation for a week or so from my job, so it's nice to have time away with my family, and we do just that. So I understand there's some of you like me that have an aversion to celebrating Santa and all that. I don't do that. Santa's not a part of Jesus being born, but I do welcome and I do partake in time away from my regular routine and a time to reflect upon God and what he's done for me and the fact that God was manifested in the flesh. Jesus Christ is God. And I take time with my family on Christmas to make sure we understand the beautiful name of Jesus Christ and what this season should be all about. We understand that the Catholic Church wanted to institute a time for Christians, and so they came up with Christmas at this time of year because the pagans had a holiday. I understand all that, but I think it is okay to go ahead and celebrate the birth of Jesus Christ during this time. But I would totally understand and get if somebody has an aversion to that. It would not upset me, and so I would not be offended at that if you disagreed with me. Oh, man. Well, appreciate your time today. I know that your time is valuable. I know that there's many things you could be doing. I appreciate you spending time with us. May God bless you this season. May God enrich your life. Stay close to him. He is the only answer. Jesus is God. I love you guys. Have a great weekend. Talk to you very soon. We do archive every episode up on YouTube, Facebook, and Periscope. We appreciate you taking time out of your busy schedule to listen to the show. We look forward to seeing you next week. God bless you and love you very much.